We have got to love ourselves despite the lack. Because if we keep on deluding ourselves and telling ourselves that we are going to love ourselves whenever we get these things that we want, we're just going to keep lying to ourselves. I grew to an acceptance of understanding that even though I do not have this, I have value and I have worth for whatever reason I can find. The reason that you have not found that self-love inside of you could be for a lot of reasons, but I feel like the overall reasoning is because you're waiting for the perfect time to love yourself. You probably tell yourself, I will love myself when I get this. I will love myself when I become this type of person. I'll love myself when I accomplish whatever this goal is that I set out to accomplish. And we feel like that's productive and it keeps us disciplined and it keeps us consistent. But in reality, we're just harming ourselves and we're pushing ourselves away from self-love. Self-love is not the reward. It's not conditional. It's not supposed to be dependent on how well you performed today or how productive you could have been. You need to turn self-love into your expectation. You're not supposed to love yourself because you did something or love yourself because you accomplished whatever this thing is. You're supposed to love yourself even if you didn't accomplish it. You're supposed to love yourself despite if you were a perfect person today. The biggest mistake that I've made in my journey personally is holding myself to the expectations and holding myself to the standards of something that was completely out of reach and something that was completely unattainable. I was holding myself to the standard of perfection. I constantly put myself in positions where I said, you do not deserve success. You do not deserve happiness. You do not deserve whatever you want to get in life until you can reach this standard of perfection. And if I loved myself based off of the accomplishment of those standards and those expectations, how could I possibly find myself in a position to love the person that I was if the thing that I was expecting from myself was completely unattainable? So just to wrap that personal story up, I was waiting to love myself. My self-love was conditional, and I'm not gonna lie, I was very unhappy because of that. So I want to flip it back to you and let you know that the biggest mistake you're probably making in your self-love journey is that you're waiting for the perfect time to love yourself. And I'm not sure who needs to hear this, but I just wanted to let you know that there's never going to be a perfect time to love yourself. If you constantly look for the perfect time to love yourself, you'll find yourself in a lifestyle where you're reaching for something that you can never grab. And to apply this stuff to your life, we can even do some real life exercises as well. Take a mental note on how many times you think to yourself, if I have this, I will be happy. If I had this, I will love myself. If I had this, just imagine what my life would look like. Take a mental note of all of that stuff and realize that the lack of that stuff is not why you don't love yourself. Because if you still had that stuff, you will find something else to not like. You'll find something else to change. You'll find something else to reach for. And again, I can bring it back to myself. I don't want to sound narcissistic. I just don't want to keep on calling you out. But we've got to think about the things that we feel like we lack. When you take that mental note, when you feel insecure, when you feel envious or jealous about certain things, don't completely ignore it. Don't act like you're not supposed to be jealous, so you'll just shove it down to wherever you can't see it. Because that right there, that's not self-love. You cannot attack anything without approaching it head on. So like I said, I can bring it back to me. Sometimes I wish I was taller. Sometimes I wish I was stronger. Sometimes I wish I was smarter than some of the people in my life. I wish I could manage my time in a way that I see some of my friends manage their time. I wish I had all the nice cars and the nice jewelry that all these celebrities have that I see on the internet. Of course, I wish I could have this stuff. Self-love doesn't mean that you don't wish you had anything. Self-love doesn't mean that you don't feel those emotions. Everybody's gonna feel jealous. Everybody's gonna feel envious. And even though I'm a person that would say that I'm pretty confident, I'm pretty secure in myself, I've made a lot of progress in my life to be happy with myself. I can say I truly love myself. I do feel those emotions. But self-love doesn't mean shoving that stuff away and acting like it doesn't exist. Self-love means understanding that, yes, you wish you had those things, but guess what? You don't. The things that you can control, the things that you can work towards, of course, work for that. But if something's out of your control, just leave that be. I wish I was taller, but I'm not. But I still love myself and I love the height that I have because I grew to an acceptance of understanding that even though I do not have this, I have value and I have worth for whatever reason I can find. My worth and my identity do not lie in the things that I lack. And even though I lack some of those things that I want, I lack a lot of things. I don't have superpowers. You don't see me crying because of the fact that I don't have it. I wasn't born with that. That's not something that I can reach in my life. I love myself despite what I lack. I love myself even if I'm not tall. I love myself even if I cannot fly. I love myself even if I don't have $1,000,000. We have got to love ourselves despite the lack. Because if we keep on deluding ourselves and telling ourselves that we are going to love ourselves whenever we get these things that we want, we're just going to keep lying to ourselves. Because I'm telling you, as soon as you reach whatever goal you're setting out to accomplish, if you don't already have that foundation of self-love, nothing's going to change. I'm not going to say that you hate yourself for the rest of your life, but getting that one accomplishment is for sure not going to be the one thing that makes you love yourself. I used to put value in the things that I lack, but nowadays I'm making it a point to put value in the things that I have, the things that I'm blessed with, the things that people will look at me and say, I wish I had that. Because there's always something. Nobody's not blessed with anything. Everybody has something that makes them unique. Everybody has something that another person would look at them and say, I wish I had that from that person. So instead of holding so much value in the things that we cannot attain or the things that we do not have in our lives currently, how about we start putting that value into appreciating ourselves and loving ourselves despite the fact that we do not have those things? And for anybody listening who needs this, I just want to let you know that you are seen, you're heard, and you're appreciated. And despite the fact that you don't have everything in your life that you think is going to make you love yourself, there is still worth and there is still value in who you are. Look for those things. Understand that you are appreciated despite how you might feel. Understand that you have value despite the things that you might be putting value in currently. There's always somebody out there that will look at you and put value in the things that you have in your life. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.